Yo, 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 what's going on? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit. Check this out. I explained yesterday about the feet, right? Well, let's go into the stifle, the straight stifle, very, very straight stifle. This will cause you a multitude of problems. One of the problems it's going to cause you, of course, is a high propensity to tear the CCL or other ligaments in the knee. The CCL is the equivalent to the ACL in our knees. If you're into basketball, football, any sport, you will know an ACL tear is not a good thing. In dogs in general, the surgery is about $2,500 to $3,500 to fix. And there's a good probability that if the initial problem that caused it to tear is still there, which would be a structural issue, that the dog is going to re-tear it. There is a different level of stress on the ankle, which it can also stress the ankle out to the point of torn ligaments, arthritis, and different situations like that, which therefore makes the dog walk differently. More stress on the knee, more stress on the hip. You see where I'm going with this. This one issue causes a lot of issues. In the show ring, of course, it causes a high rear that we would want to kick you out the ring for. But more so, it changes the angle of the ball and socket that is the hip. Now, you want that to flow very, very smoothly. You know what I mean? If you've got good hips, it's very, very lubricated in the hip joint. The cartilage is good. Like I say, the ball and the socket is just working perfectly fine. If it starts to be abrasive, you start to wear down the cartilage. You start to cause arthritic conditions, and eventually, if it gets worn down too much, that's how the hip dislocates. Eventually, you'll need hip surgery. Hip surgery on a dog is an astronomical charge that you do not want to pay. But more so, what will happen is, because of the pain, the dog will distort his body, which could affect his back, which of course will affect the feet and the elbows, affect the front end. This is the way all of these things go, and this is why we emphasize overall structure. It's not that you're nitpicking, but you have to understand the reason why the dog needs everything to fit properly is because one issue causes another issue. This is one of the reasons why we see so many of these dogs disappear by the time they're 5, 6 years old, because they can't last. A lot of these dogs are being put down. A lot of these dogs can't move. Some of the ones that can't move, unfortunately, are still being bred. And since they're still being bred, they're making more dogs just like them. We have to change the formula that we're using to make these dogs. We have to make these dogs better. We have to make them more versatile. We have to make them when I mean more versatile, by the way, I mean they have to get to the point to where they're in good enough physical condition that they can actually do physical activities like lure coursing, some protection work, whatever the case may be. I would love to see them prove that they're physically stable and that they can do something. But of course, confirmation shows is what most people are into. We're going to have confirmation shows where, bottom line, I'm just not seeing dogs with stiff rears, stiff hindquarters, high rears. These things I know are tearing down the hips, tearing down the knees, tearing down the paws and the ankles. It will not work. It's bad for the dogs, and the dogs should not be bred. It's the same thing I told you guys about with the front. These are all issues that go into other issues, including the back, and extra issues on the spine, and some neurological issues if the hips are that bad. We have to do better and stop saying, no dog's perfect. You might not get the perfect look that you want to, but you can at least shoot for the perfect healthy dog. I see plenty of mutts at the animal shelter that have perfectly good conformation and healthy, that you got a good idea these dudes are going to live another 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, because they're well put together. We are not seeing that with the American Bully, and eventually it's going to kill the breed if it already hasn't. So we have to do the right thing. We have to identify these flaws and these issues and get rid of them. It doesn't mean that you kill off your pet, but you should be understanding that that is a pet. If his rear end is high, if he's having these issues, he's a pet, and we'll just call it at that. We'll leave it at that, and no longer breed the dog and make a better example. You know what I mean? But until next time, y'all, God bless y'all. Much love. Peace.